Hey, what's up? It's Reverend Meggus. It's Thursday, July 10th, 9:52:52 on the clock as I look up. And it's a Capricorn full moon. How are you? We're going to do a reading. This will be a collective reading. And if you'd like a personal reading, you can go to my website, theowlandthewolf.com. It's the only place I ever offer those anywhere other than collectives. But this full moon in Capricorn is interesting because it's about growth and change, especially personal growth and change, our values, making sure that, what we're doing is aligned with our core values and our soul's purpose, for that matter. It's a time for examining, those ideas of what our core values are to see if they actually align with us or if they belong to somebody else who put them there a long time ago and they're not really working for us. But this full moon in Capricorn is also a lot about relationships, not just romantic relationships either. And I will never really talk to you just about that because, quite frankly, you have a lot more to do in your lives than just be in romantic relationships. And y'all are so clever and talented, so, don't sell yourself short by spending all your time thinking about romance. Regardless, it is a good time to consider how the relationships in our lives are feeding us, if they're working for our highest and best anymore, if we're becoming dependent on them, if they're keeping us stuck and stagnant, if there are things that we have been neglecting or ignoring or trying to ignore. The universe has been bringing a lot of that up lately, especially with astrology over the last 6 months. A lot of stuff is coming up to be examined, and this full moon is no different. But it is about growing and fresh starts and really honing in on what it is that we want, what our soul and our heart want most of all. And reflecting on if the things around us are in alignment with that, and if what we want is in alignment with us. So there's a lot to think about. But the universe has been bringing us a lot of lessons, and it is time for us to, end old cycles, let things go that haven't been working for us. And full moon is a good time to release. And as a friend of mine said, it's also a good time for gratitude. So as we release and let go of things that aren't working for us, we also release them with love and gratitude for the changes they brought into our lives. Endings, even sudden endings, are change. And those bring change. And sometimes the universe says, we're going to kick you out of here because we need to do something a little different for you. This phase, this time is done. Let's move you to the next thing. Anyway, collectively, I know we have a hard time releasing things. We have a hard time with change. We have a hard time with discomfort. So what's happening astrologically right now can really be a big shakeup. King of Swords on the bottom of the deck. And if something needs to leave or needs to be dealt with, you can bet that the universe is going to bring that right up for you to deal with. I have talked to a lot of people lately, and a lot of us have noticed that some of the old cycles that we needed to put to rest have come up. Sometimes some things come in straight out of the past, people, places, situations, and things, to appear once more and say, is this really what the heck you want for the rest of your life, for the next 6 months, for the next 6 years, whatever it is? Really think about what it is that you want your life to look like, and don't settle, because the only thing you're going to get by settling is disappointment later on. Anyway, we're going to take a look at the energy around and see what's going on as I move my thousands of rocks. We got a Knight of Wands in the present for the querent. Five of Pentacles inverted, moving towards. Very interesting. And I've got this other card that fell out while I was shuffling, Five of Wands, pairing it with the Sun here for the message from Spirit. But here in the middle is the Knight of Wands. I feel, honestly, I think part of the problem with shifting and moving and thinking about what's best for us at this time is that we're too focused on appearances. We're too focused on what things look like, on getting all the things done. There's this, you know, Knight of Wands is, this Knight of Wands is a little different. She's got a big old row of sunflowers here in the back. And this beautiful wand that she's holding. I keep being struck with the temporary nature of this. What I feel is a couple things. Too focused on appearances. Too focused on short-term gains. We've got all of those sunflowers in the back. Those, you know, grow and then fall the heck over. These aren't plants that come back every year. Even though we can harvest some pretty tasty seeds and other things from them. But I feel like we are way too focused on the short term here. We're more focused on making things look good in the short term than we are about how things are going to look in the long term, and that's selling us short. We have Ace of Wands here in the past, and I think we need to slow down. Knight of Wands tends to be a pretty fast-moving character anyway, coming in and out. But in the past, we had this passionate, creative spark. And I feel like a lot of folks are struggling with how best to temper that and tend to it and keep it going. We have, you know, it's energy, it's creativity, it's fire, it's passion. And it's really easy to get, here we go again with the numbers, 10:04:44 on the clock right now. When something is fiery and passionate and creative, we tend to just run with it instead of being more balanced with it. We let it burn out instead of tending to that flame inside of us so it keeps burning. And there is this beautiful fiery Ace of Wands here, but, you know, her wand is not lit. And I feel somewhere from the past until now, we had this beautiful spark and idea and thing we were running with. But I don't know that it was fully formed. All of this smoke down here, all of these clouds, even through, though we have this bright wand that's on fire here on top, all of the clouds underneath it are very thick and dark. So you can't really, you know, and again, it feels more like focusing on an end goal, focusing more on an appearance than it is focusing on the substance of what's underneath. You know, the foundation that this sits in to keep it alight and to keep it, you know, hoisted and glowing that beautiful, creative, passionate light. We are rushing in with ideas, but not stabilizing that foundation. And the Knight of Wands says that too. We're focused on appearances and short-term growth, or the appearance of growth for some reasons. And I think a lot of people are having money troubles right now. You know, this Five of Pentacles in reverse, which doesn't happen often in my deck, that I get a card in reverse because I don't read with them. But I think a lot of us have had our noses down to the grindstone trying to, you know, get our finances in check, trying to get things in order, but we're missing the bigger picture and wasting a lot of energy, dulling our creative spark, and, you know, not really accomplishing much other than, you know, not being broke or, you know, needing to receive from other people. Above us in the overt or the known, the Ace of Swords here. And below us in the covert or unknown, the Emperor. Very, very interesting. I feel like we've had a problem taking charge of stuff, you know, or taking on more, or taking on our full responsibility, living into our full potential here. Really taking charge of what it is that we want to do. And so in this, with this Knight of Wands here, who's really only focused on the short term, making things look good. Above us is this Ace of Swords, knowing the ideas for more, but not understanding that we need to really lean into our personal power. The word that just popped into my head was delegating, but I don't see that, you know, the collective that I'm speaking to, I don't see necessarily that you find yourself in a leadership position, or if you do, it's not something you feel very comfortable with. There's a lot of people who happen to be in those situations in the world. But you are really being called to step into your leadership position right now. You're really being called to do that for yourself, especially because this is about your vision. Whoop. You know, and as I drop this on the ground, oh my God. Sorry, I dropped a couple cards. Wow, okay. We have the Weaver and we have the Astronomer, and I was looking at those for the Emperor, but we've got two things in common here with the Ace of Swords and the Emperor. Is this crown up here, right? And so this is, in some senses of the word, or some senses of it, you understand that you need to take charge and leadership, and this is the path. But it, you know, as much as we have this Knight of Wands who's rushing forward with appearances and not really, you know, and exerting too much energy and not looking at the larger picture, the words I also heard was dragging your feet. It's like we want things to look good, but we're not really sure how to build past, you know, just acceptable, not ruined. We know we have to lead. We know we have to make some big decisions. But there's a reluctance to being in charge. And on top of that Emperor, we have the Weaver and the Astronomer. And the Astronomer talks about using intuition, talks about very carefully measuring the sky to note the movements of the planets and the stars, helping to provide those predictions to, you know, people in the town and people in the villages and on their farms to help them plant and grow and harvest and all the cycles that they go through. And the Weaver is a little different. You know, when we think about the Weaver, clearly weaving the strings of fate. And the Weaver does talk about fate. But it also talks about, you know, changing direction. We may have been weaving this one piece, right? We may have been weaving this brilliant wall hanging, this brilliant rug. And all of a sudden, you know, the last of that purple thread is gone. And there's no way to finish the piece. So we have to take what we have and turn it into something else and turn it into something better. And I think that's really what you're being called to do here, honestly, is really think about what a new direction means and what it means for you to step up into that, not just leadership role, but taking charge of your own destiny, taking charge of your own path, not leaving it in the hands of other people, not allowing other people to make decisions for you, but really stepping up and starting to make those decisions for yourself. Now, not everybody's job necessarily allows for that, but for those of you who are watching this collective reading, you are being called to step into something larger. You're being called to step into your potential, and you know this. And there are changes that need to be made in order to do that. And one of the things that we are either reluctant to see or not seeing is that the way that we've been doing things and the way that we've been going about stuff hasn't really worked out. This is all in the overt. So we have an idea of what it is that we want to see, and we know what we're expecting, but what we're not really seeing or refusing to look at. There are some of you who are refusing to look at this. Sort of, I don't want to see where it's not working. Now is not the time to hide your eyes or avert your eyes from the knots in the thread, from the shuttle that won't go through. You need to pay attention to where the stuck points are and why they're there. And because you really want something more than this Five of Pentacles. Can we clarify Five of Pentacles inverted? It's just like, well, I'm not destitute. And we really need to allow yourself to dream big. Allow yourself to dream big right now. With this Capricorn full moon, we are releasing a lot of stuff, and something we need to think about releasing is self-imposed limitations, the things that we tell ourselves we can't do or we shouldn't do, even when they bring us a lot of joy, and that brings us success, but we hold back because of other people's ideas or other people's attitudes about what it is that we might want to do. And scrambling for appearances here, trying to make it look good, is not going to lead you down the path towards your highest and best or your heart's desires. Again, it's only going to lead you to disappointment. At least you won't be destitute. But I have a feeling you probably want more for your life than that. Can we clarify Five of Pentacles? Give me just one. Oh, there we go. Oh, geez. Yeah. Ace of Pentacles inverted. Not destitute, but we're having a hard time seeing where we can build our fortune. And the problem is we're not going to be able to build, this is Ace of Pentacles, so it's a new financial beginning. When we're here in the present moment, just making things look good, and we're not really focused on the substance of it, and just getting through and doing it as quickly as possible and making sure it looks good, and we're not cultivating that creative spark, we're not taking care of ourselves or our energy and making sure that we have the energy to put into this stuff, not taking control of it, we lost the purple thread. Now what? Well, look, you have what you have to work with. And the way things are going right now, I really feel like, y'all, I'm going to clarify Knight of Wands here if I can. Some change in direction and some slowing down and some real focus needs to come in order to change this. And again, taking charge of what it is that you want and not taking no for an answer. The Hunter. Is this the one? Is this the way I remember these cards? Is this the one that talks about guts in the forest? Or I was talking about guts in the forest? With? That'll make sense at a moment here, I promise. Let's see. Sunlight dapples the forest floor. A stag moves through the trees. Behind it, a shadow pauses and a bowstring creaks as it's drawn back. The hunter has the patience to follow their prey for days at a time, eyes always on the tracks before them. By not looking up, they miss the beauty of the forest around them. But that doesn't matter so long as they reach their quarry, right? Too single-minded. We're so focused on money here, and there's no enjoyment in the present moment. But we're trying to make it look good, right? Your own path may seem clear to you, but there are many ways to approach a problem, and the right approach is different for everyone. Don't become so focused on what seems to work for others that you miss out on your own way to get there. And that's what I think you're really being called to do right now, is examine if the way that you're taken to get there, this thing that you're weaving, is this really what you want, or is this just what somebody else is doing and that worked for them? Because that's not going to work for you in 2025. We're evolving as a species. We're humans. We're growing spiritually. Our gifts are growing. The same old way of doing things is not going to work anymore in 2025. You're not, as some, again with the numbers, 101808, as some of my guides have said, we are being called to open our hearts and really honor, our heart's desires and our soul's purpose. And we have a choice. We can either evolve or we can devolve. And the same old way of doing things and surrendering to others all the time and, following the way others do things, which has not been making us happy for a long time. We have had to keep our heads down. We're focused on making sure this task is done, but our heart isn't in it. We don't have energy. We don't have a lot of creative spark, and we know we want to take more control of our life. But the way things are heading, it's not really going to give us that foundation. I think the intervention now, let me look at this message from Spirit here. We've got 5 of Wands and we've got the Sun. 5 of Wands. What isn't working? What is the constant struggle? What is the constant battle? There is something that you're fighting against. It's draining your energy. It is taking up your time. It's wasting your time. It's why it's why you're rushing through stuff, focused on appearances, things looking better than they actually are, and why you're having such a hard time bringing that creative energy and idea from the past into the present and really working with it. It's because you're meeting a lot of resistance. And you got to be honest with yourself about what that resistance is. Capricorn full moon is a time of release. I'm going to grab the cat people. Capricorn full moon is a time of release. And when it comes to relationships and other people and things going on in our lives, we need to think about what's keeping us, what's draining us, what's draining our energy, what's holding us back. There is no obligation. This is whatever, my opinion, but I think it's a good one. There is no obligation. There is no relationship. There is no family tie or blood tie that is worth more than your heart's desires and your soul's purpose. And truthfully, love. When we talk about love, and love not romantic, love, that unconditional love, that divine love, that love that we share for those we care about. Please don't take that as just romantic, because our lives are so much more diverse than that. But that love, that love grows and is that spark that leads us to greatness. And those who love us want to see us reach that greatness, no matter what, because that's what love is. It is, and when they say, let someone go if you love them, blah, blah, blah. If you need to take a different direction to find fulfillment and satisfaction in your life, then somebody who loves you, truly loves you and truly cares about you, is going to want you to do that. If you're following your heart's desires, why wouldn't they want you to do that? they're giving you a bunch of excuses why you shouldn't follow your heart's desires, I would probably recommend reevaluating that friendship, because those aren't reasons for you, you know, nobody's playing devil's advocate there. Somebody's trying to keep you where you are. And the problem is you're not very happy where you are right now. You know, we've got these, we're spending so much time working up appearances and making things look good, but boy, we are not satisfied. We're drained of our energy and we are longing for success. Spirit, how do we turn this around? We've got a 5 of Pentacles in reverse and an Ace of Pentacles in reverse. How do we turn this around? Well, very interesting. We've got 4 of Pentacles. We've got 7 of Wands. And the Empress. Emperor and Empress. So here's what I'm saying very interestingly. We've got this 4 of Wands. We've got the 7 of Wands. You know, we've got all of these wands. And the one is hoisted and being directed at this 4 of Pentacles. What this says to me is it's time to let go of things that aren't working. That would be a confirmation. My timer ran out. I just restarted it. We've been clinging on to the things that once were a foundation for us, or that we originally were going to build a foundation with. Change is scary, I get it, but sitting in your comfort zone while everything else drains away is not going to do anything but lead you to disappointment. It is time to defend yourself from holding on to things that are not serving you anymore. That are, you know, I look at how awkwardly she's holding these things. These pentacles there. This is not very comfortable. You know, there's this cute cat in front of her who got a little airplane ears, probably because her hands are full and there's no scritching going on. You know what I mean? I mean, this is a whole opportunity for cat scritches lost. But regardless, there's a lot of disappointment here, and this is the message from Spirit. You know, we're holding on too tightly to things that are really not fulfilling us. If we do that out of fear, when we do that out of fear, we do that out of security, we're not making smart choices. It's not a smart choice. It's not a wise choice to hang on to things just because they're there when they're not bringing us fulfillment, especially if we've been working on stuff for a while and it's really not going anywhere. It's only kind of leading us to break even. It's time to let go of the stuff that is kicking over our cups and making us feel cranky and pissy. And the thing is, like, man, everybody's upset here. Even the cat in the background is crying. You know, there's a teardrop coming out of this cup too. And the biggest cup is the one that's upright on the ground that drop is going to be into. But it's like we are defending this. You know, we've got the Empress here too, which is very interesting. I'm going to lay another card on that, because we've got the Emperor and then we've got the Empress. And tell me, clarify the Empress here. What else can we know about that Empress? The Pilgrim. How interesting. Somebody's going in a different direction. And I think as you've been sitting there, spinning your wheels, not getting anywhere, but trying to just, you know, spending all your time making things look good, there's other directions that you know. And you've seen other people go in other directions, and you're excited about those directions. And for whatever reason, you're staying exactly where you are, stagnant, holding on to the things that you've been holding on to that aren't getting you anywhere and aren't exciting you. You know, that creative spark that from Ace of Wands to Ace of Pentacles and 5 of Pentacles inverted is not a very happy progression here. But we've got the Pilgrim. we've got the pilgrim, we've got this lantern here with the sun in it. And we wouldn't have to have a lantern if things were bright and illuminated and we saw clearly down the path. But that doesn't mean it's a dangerous path. It just means we haven't discovered it yet because we haven't started walking on it. And I feel like you are really tempted to go in this direction, this Empress, God, with all of it. I love this coat so much. And it looks like eyes. This is somebody who sees very clearly and sees their path and sees their future, even though that path may not be illuminated. The pilgrim in this lantern is also surrounded by roses, which can definitely signify love. They can signify angels and divine support. And I think, quite frankly, there is a lot of divine guidance that is trying to lead you away from the spinning your wheels and not getting anywhere, not standing in your power and taking the easy way out kind of situation, which is not working for you. The pilgrim, seeking new opportunities, self-discovery, solitude. The pilgrim has been walking so long, they no longer remember where they are headed or where they have come from. Their path is long and yields many lessons and exciting discoveries, yet at the same time, they never stop long enough to appreciate them. Don't forget to slow down on your own journey and learn to enjoy the process of growth and the achievements along the way. And you're not going to be able to do that while you're rushing around just trying to make things look good. You're missing out on opportunities for personal growth and potential. And this card, the blank card, the anything's possible, thank you, Timeline, for that. The anything's possible card has also come up here. So you have options and possibilities for sure, but not if you are going to stay stuck in the same situation that is draining your time and your energy and not getting you anywhere. If we can let go of the conflict, the situations, the conflict that's draining us, that's draining all our energy. It's just a constant fight to maintain this stuff, and it's making us feel very unfulfilled. We have this success and achievement, the sun. And if you are brave enough, and truthfully, it doesn't take a lot of bravery to look at your present situation and say, you know what, this sucks and I hate it. It's not giving me anything. I don't feel inspired. I don't feel like I'm doing anything but like shifting things around and making it look like nobody's upset or sad when everybody is. It's just not producing. It's not producing. It's keeping you in lack. It's keeping you out of your power. But taking that leap of faith towards the dark path, you bring your lantern, anything is possible. So many more possibilities. On the bottom of the deck here, staring at me, the pathless. I think there's a fear of, God, I don't know. There's a fear of the unknown. Boy, have I been dealing with that a lot lately. Not knowing. This is a really hard thing to do, especially as a neurodivergent person, but we don't need to know things as neurodivergent people because that's how we're wired. It's a response to the society that forces us to put ourselves into these systems and things that don't work for us. And right now in this full moon, you have a time to pause for the train. You have an opportunity for infinite possibilities. In other words, taking your power and making something with it, not deferring to everybody else and hoping that it'll work out for you. It's time to step into your power. The pathless here says, this is difficulty making decisions. This is hard decisions, hard choices. I think if you let go of the idea that comfort means something good, sometimes it just means it's what we know. You know, that's all it can mean. It doesn't necessarily mean, you know, it's comfortable, so this is where we should be. It just means that this is what we're familiar with. But this is so keeping you stagnant and straining you and sucking your energy. But for whatever reason, you are really reluctant to let this go out of this, you know, sense of security, or not wanting to take charge. Not wanting to step into your power, not wanting to claim your power. And it has to do with failure in the past. Let me tell you something, the past is not now. The people, places, situations, and things that you experienced in the past that ended in disappointment are not the same people, places, situations, and things that you're encountering now. You don't have to make those same decisions, and it is not fated to follow that same path. That's part of being human. We learn things and we do different. But if you fail and stop there and say, well, I can't do this, well, then I guess you can't. You're not moving yourself through growth and change and coming into your power. And Capricorn especially. Capricorn's pretty... You know, this is the mountain goat that balances on the side of impossibly tiny cliffs. You know, and it can feel treacherous and scary and honestly different to start something new. But the other thing it does is get your brain going. When you're stuck in a rut, when you're stuck doing the same things and it's wearing you down and tearing you apart, one of the best things you can do for your brain is something different. And that can be as small as brushing your teeth with the opposite hand, or as big as going in a new direction, trying something different, because this is just draining you. You're having a harder time seeing possibilities and making decisions because you can't. You're so stuck in this situation, trying to make it work as best you can. All of your insight, everything that you could possibly imagine, all that energy is just being sucked right out of you. Do something different. Try a different path. I'm going to pull out just one card from the Woodland Wardens and see if we can give you some sort of an inspiration, because we're talking about trying something different. You know what it is. This is the thing. You know the different thing. This is where the Empress is headed. You've been inspired by this person, you know, and she's saying, stop being so stingy. Stop clinging to the old ways of doing things that aren't working. There's some innovation here that excites you. So why are you doing things the same old ways when innovation excites you? Well, this is a beautiful, beautiful thing. I hope that you can step within your power and choose to be the emperor in your own life and take control over it, over your circumstances, over your situation. Be the leader of your own life. Not allow other people's decisions to fall back on you and determine that for you. And as far as moving forward on this path with clarity, you know, again, you're not going to be able to see everything right away. You know, you've been stagnant here. There is learning and growth and opportunities that will present itself. Just grab your lantern and keep going. And eventually the sun will rise and you'll be able to see that path more clearly. 2 things to remember as you do that. Stay curious. Stop approaching your roadblocks or your difficulties or your situations with a sense of failure or shame or guilt. Start approaching them with a sense of curiosity, sense of wonder. I wonder why this is such a hard thing for me. I wonder why this didn't work. I wonder what would happen if I did it a different way. Don't allow initial failure to stop you from making progress or think that it ruins you in any way. Because we've got the skunk and magnolia here. You're protected. You are protected on your path. You're not protected in this situation, and that's just going to not go very well for you. But you are protected moving forward into the unknown. And the other thing that the skunk and magnolia wants me to impart to you is that you're capable of protecting yourself and handling your own affairs and doing it the way that you want. Don't be afraid to fail. Like they say in science, failure is an option. That's how we learn. We get more data, we plug that in, we make big discoveries and big shifts that way. Don't be afraid to fail. Just be afraid to stop. Pick yourself back up. Reevaluate that data and move forward. There are no certainties in life, and if we wait forever for the sure thing, we're just going to end up staying in an uncomfortable comfort zone that becomes a trap and a drain, and miss out on the beautiful opportunities that life has to offer. And a really, really wonderful chance to step out, become, the emperor of our own lives, and truly work for our highest and best, and have our heart's desires in our life. Your heart's desires are worth it. I don't care what anybody ever said about how practical or impractical it is. That's not their heart. Stuff isn't in their heart, it's in yours, and there's a reason for it. And honor yourself and your feelings around what it is that you want to do and the direction that you want to go. And even if the path is not fully lit, there is so much potential here. So maybe you'll start in one direction and then very quickly, hey, here's something else that's going to work better for me. But staying stagnant here is not going to do it for you. Invite the changes in that you know you need to make. Take back your power and use it for your own gain. And dare I say, step out on your own. You need to be in control of your path and your direction, and that isn't going to come by riding anybody else's coattails. And that is it for our full moon in Capricorn reading. If you want a personal reading, please go to theowlandthewolf.com. You can get inexpensive readings by email, or I will book sessions for tarot, fossil readings, or transformational hollow bone healings. Please feel free to use the contact form on that website if you have any questions, and have a wonderful evening. Love you. Bye.